Hey everybody, what's going on? Here we are again. Here's Big Kitty, man. He's anxious for the podcast today. Hello, big boy. Hello. Hello. See, it's a good deal of Big Kitty's right here at the start, man. He's on a trip today. I'm on a trip today. Hey, I posted the guitar song. I posted that guitar song. I hope you all like it. Yeah. That's good. Like I said, it's the only thing I've ever recorded that I liked. How are you doing today, everybody? You all doing great? You can press the like button before the podcast. That way you like it whether you like it or not. Anyway. I don't think, somebody said they thought I have a cat allergy. No, I've had cats my whole life. I've never had an allergy. I've had this cat for 5 or 6 years, and 6 years, I guess, and I've never had an allergy of him before. So this is definitely the fires, man. The fires are fucking us up here in LA. They are. Oh, don't want to use bad language. The algorithm will hold me down. You know, Space and First Takes. Maybe I will listen to that. I don't remember. I don't remember a lot about that, you know. But Space and First Takes. I'm getting right to the questions here because I was so cool. Anyway, I posted that video. Dylan came over last night, and it was more problem than we thought. We thought I could do it over the phone, but we couldn't have never done it over the phone. Anyway, we put that picture on the thing, and we posted it on the thing. So if you go to videos on my podcast channel, go to videos, and you'll see it. There's a picture of the group shot, the Mesa BOOGIE. That's us all there, all standing. My friend Ralph took that picture. Ralph's such a good photographer, man. He knows when to press the button. Look at that picture. Everybody's smiling. Everybody's looking good. You know, usually if you have a picture that big, at least 1 or 2 people are looking weird, you know. But in that picture, every single person is looking good. Ralph's a real pro photographer, and he's really good. And you can see that by that picture. Anyway, thank you, Ralph, if you're out there watching my podcast today. Ralph Starkweather, go look at his stuff. He's a very gifted photographer. Had shows all over Europe, all over the place. If you go into Sammy's camera in LA, and there's these big pictures all around there. There used to be these giant pictures all around inside Sammy's camera. Those were all Ralph's pictures. You know, he's the man. Anyway, I'm gonna go through these questions really fast. I'm so glad I got the guitar thing up. Like I was saying, it's the only thing I've ever recorded that I don't mind listening to. Usually when I hear my stuff back, I just go, eh. But that I like. I like that one a lot, and I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, I hope you enjoy it because I listen. I haven't heard it in a while. I heard it last night when we put it on the thing, and I was thinking, wow. I sing funny. No one likes their voice. Come on, guys. Come on. Does anybody out there like their voice? If you like your voice, tell me because I've never met anyone that likes their voice. Maybe some rock stars like their voice. I don't know. I never asked them if they like their voice. You often wonder, you know, when everybody's singing if they don't like their voice, because I don't like my voice, and I assume that no one likes their voice, you know, just like no one likes seeing a picture of themselves. They like seeing pictures of other people, but not of themselves. That's just human nature, unless you got an ego that's so giant and big. Anyway, I didn't play the Erie Canal Pop Festival. I'm sorry, I didn't play that. You said you thought I might have played it, but you didn't know who exactly played it and you can't find. Well, I wasn't at that pop festival. For sure I wasn't at that pop festival. Now, when I talk about not being able to remember my songs, I can remember everything in the planet except my songs. No, really, I got a really good memory and my brain is totally intact and I'm not that forgetful. But for some reason, I have this mental block. I can't remember any of my old songs or what they're about. A few of them that I really liked, but the others, sometimes I just think, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know the answer to those songs. I guess Sammy Hagar is a Mill Valley guy. Somebody corrected me. I stand corrected. Yeah. Sammy Hagar is a Mill Valley guy, I guess. So it just goes to show you, I never met him. I didn't know. I always thought he was from L.A. Maybe back in the day he was from L.A. I don't know. He always felt like an L.A. guy. Anyway, Sammy Hagar. I guess he's a Mill Valley guy. I stand corrected. You know, I saw the movie Bullet. Yeah, somebody asked me if I saw the movie Bullet because I like cars and stuff. I didn't see Vanishing Point or Dirty Harry or Crazy Larry. Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. I didn't see that movie. You know, I didn't watch a lot of movies back in the day. I got into movies later. You know, back in the day, I didn't watch many movies. But later on, I got more into movies. But back in the day, no. Yeah, let me cross this off. Somebody about Tower of Power. I like their music. Yeah, because they were sort of R&B kind of grooving kind of deal. So I always liked their music. I really never knew them, you know. I don't know if we played any gigs together. I can't remember. But I always liked their music, okay? Yeah. Somebody asked me about the background, the jungle background. Well, let me tell you, it's this big set. It's like one side of it is 15 feet long. The other side is like 11 feet long. And it's an L-shaped thing. And it's got big tables. And then over there is a table where all the equipment is that does all the equipment's there. And so, yeah, it's this whole set, and we built it. It's got a bunch of mics, so I can have a bunch of guests. But I need an assistant in order to work the switcher and the mics and all that when I have guests. So I don't have any guests because I don't have an assistant right now. But I have this whole setup. So you're seeing me here behind this background. But there's this beautiful orange table, and how we got the background. Dylan and I were talking about making the podcast set and how we were going to do it, and he came up with a picture of a jungle, and then so he stretched it and enlarged it and manipulated it, and so this thing goes 15 feet down my wall and then 11 feet into my room, and it's like this L-shaped thing, and it's really beautiful. But all you're seeing right here is me with the little jungle behind me, but it's a really beautiful set. And then we have these orange, it's a weird color orange that I selected. So Dylan did the backdrop, and I did the tables. And it's really pretty in here. Dylan's going to come by. He's going to come on the podcast again when he has a break, and we'll show you a wide shot. And maybe he'll show me how to work the switcher. I can switch and show you guys a wide shot. But it's really cool. The studio is really cool, and everybody that comes in goes, whoa, because it's this big, like giant. It's like a mural going down the wall and around, and it's really cool. I love it. In fact, I just sit here and I look at it and I really like it. It really feels peaceful. Now, there's a thing that I've heard a lot of people say in film, never use green. You know, there's something about green. But I think green looks okay. And, yeah, that's the story of the backdrop. It's a pretty cool backdrop. You'd have to see it to appreciate it. It's breathtaking, actually. And Dylan did a really good job of stretching it out because it was just one little picture. And he stretched it and flipped it and turned it and made it into this whole thing. And it's really cool. And we got these orange tables with the blacks around on the bottom. So it's orange and black. Orange. Orange kitty, orange hair, orange. And yeah, it's a cool thing. When I sit here, I always feel really happy. Anyway, that's the story of the jungle background. Yeah, Dennis Wilson. That was the guy's name, the drummer in the Beach Boys. Dennis Wilson. Somebody said he was a friend of Charlie Manson. I don't know. I didn't know him that well. I met him a couple of times here in Venice. He was out of his mind when I met him. But yeah, he died too early. Fell in the water. I think he fell in the water and drowned. But yeah, Dennis Wilson was his name. Thanks for telling me those names, people. Somebody asked me about the album Absolutely. Well, when I had my record label, Squish Records, which was really not a successful label because I didn't, I had this idea, Squish. It was a great idea, but executing it, I was just not a record guy. I was not a promotion guy. I was not a business guy on that level. So Squish Records never did anything. And that record Absolutely was on Squish. And I have never re-released it. I never re-released it. Alan Weir played drums on it, and I kind of liked it. Yeah, I kind of liked that album. I sure liked Alan's drumming. Alan Weir was a great drummer. Somebody asked me if Tommy Morrison, the boxer, ever was in my gym. No, he wasn't in my gym. I think my gym was started right after his era. You know, I think he did his thing, and then my gym was after that a little bit. But I never met him, and he was never in my gym. Somebody asked me about the drummer Jim Gordon. Yeah, what a great drummer. I think I played with Teresa James, and he was playing with us once when I played with them. I can't quite remember. I think he was, but yeah, he's a good drummer. Wow. Yeah, every now and then some drummer is exceptional. He was one of those drummers. Yeah, yeah. You know, it's always funny. I always say a drum machine is better than a bad drummer. And I'll stick by that statement. I know in the old days I used to say it, and people got really mad when the first drum machines came out, the Lynn drum machines and all that shit. And yeah, I always said a drum machine is better than a bad drummer. And now most of the records that you hear, all the hip hop records and everything, they don't use real drummers. They're all drum machines, and they sound good and they groove right along. So I think drum machines are cool. Drum machines are sort of like AI. You know, when they first came out, everybody was really down on them. Oh, you can't have a drum machine, and they were all pissed off. And then now they're like, everybody uses drums. You know. They create drum tracks. Not everybody, but a lot of people, yeah. So it's pretty popular in hip hop and everything. Yeah. So AI is the same way, you know, people like, oh man, we did the coolest stuff in AI yesterday. I was working with my collaborator in France, Finia. Hi, Finia. And Cam was online yesterday. Hi, Cam. We got some Phineas doing this greatest stuff. We're scanning our avatars in the virtual world, and we're putting them in AI, and AI is taking them to another level. They look like real people, and God, it's so cool. In fact, last night Dylan and I loaded an AI app in my computer. I got to make sure I got the right one. I got to talk to Phinia, but we loaded it in Midjourney, and then I'm going to load in Pika tonight probably. Anyway, yeah, it was cool, man. We did some cool stuff. It's like mind-blowingly cool, yeah. And we used Pika to animate it, and it's just looks really great. Somebody asked me about the Carnival Life album and the nose thing, and that was like a pair of fake, like the glasses that you get at a joke store. It was a fake glasses, fake nose, fake mustache. It was sort of like a Groucho Marx looking thing. I remember Herb Albert, he didn't like that picture. He didn't think I should use it, but naturally I was so dumb I used it anyway. God, if I only listened to people just a little bit, it would have really helped me. But yeah, I had my head up my ass. But that was a weird cover. If I could go back and change any cover, that's probably the one I would change. Yeah, because that was stupid. I didn't realize when I did it, it was like a Groucho Marx joke, glasses and nose and mustache and stuff. I didn't realize that. And then after years later, I realized that I said, what was I thinking? But anyway, that's the story of that. I didn't know Ronnie Montrose. Somebody asked me if I knew Ronnie Montrose. I didn't know Ronnie Montrose. Well, everybody, you got to go listen to my guitar thing. I was really kind of cool. I hadn't listened to it in a year or so, and I listened to it yesterday, and it was cool. I like it. Yeah. Good guitar sounds, right? That guitar sound is good. And the voice is clear, but I sure hate my voice. But anyway, that's life. Everybody hates their voice. I didn't follow baseball, so I don't know that it's baseball season, or I'm still not following baseball. I've never been a real baseball guy, you know. But somebody asked me about that. So I know I have friends that just love, they live for baseball. They go to the games and they're just so into it. Rusty Evans, if you're out there anywhere, I know you're into baseball. Up north in Mill Valley you live. Anyway, hi, Rusty. Hope you're doing good, man. I don't know if you're watching my podcast or not, but I hope you are. Okay. Leon Russell. This is a good... I never had any interaction with him, but I have a Leon Russell story. There's an album cover he had, and if you look at the album cover, it's a drawing. It's a black and white drawing, and it looks exactly like me. I remember when I saw that album cover, I says, that doesn't look like Leon Russell. It looks like me. And I couldn't figure that out, you know. Yeah, I looked at that album cover and I thought, that looks like me. And why did they use a picture why didn't they draw a picture that looked like Leon Russell? Why did they draw a picture that looked like me? Well, it turned out years later, I found out that there was this artist and he drew that picture of me. That was actually a picture of me. And he drew that and he was going to try to sell it to me that I could have used. And I would have used it. It was a great picture. And, but before he could contact me, Leon Russell's manager saw that picture and bought it from the guy and gave it to Leon Russell. And so they bought my picture and gave it to Leon Russell, and he used it on his album cover I don't know. Go back and look at that picture. You can see it. You can clearly see it's me. And I remember I was so perplexed by that. I thought, how come he's using a picture that looks just like me, you know? I really never could understand that. And then I found out years later, someone told me the story that this artist had drawn that picture of me, was going to try to sell it to me. But before he could sell it to contact me, Leon Russell's manager saw it and bought it from him to use on Leon Russell's record. But it didn't look anything like Leon Russell. Look at that picture. You'll know what I mean. Anyway, that's a picture of me that Leon Russell used. That's the creepiest thing. I would never do that. I would never use a picture of me that looked like somebody else. That was pretty weird. I don't know if they got any benefit out of that, but I would have liked to have had that picture for my own album cover, but the guy sold it to them. I guess he needed the money and he sold the picture, and that's life. You know, he drew it, he sold it. That's his choice, I guess. But we would have bought it if we would have known about it. But that guy, that Leon Russell's manager, scooped in and took my picture. But guess what? Speaking to that guy's manager, we were at this. He was managing some other people, and we were at a gig in Texas on the same bill as these bands, and that manager was there, and he had this really pretty girl with him, and so we just walked right. And a couple of other girls they had some pretty girls hanging around with him, and we walked right up to those girls, and we told those girls, "What are you doing with this guy? Come with us." And the girls all left and came with us, and then they flew back from Texas to San Francisco with us and everything, and they partied down but we just walked right up and took those girls, man. We just walked right up and we said, "What are you doing with these guys?" Because the manager was this guy. He was this English guy, I think, and I forget his name, but anyway, we took his girls. We got even with them, I guess. Somebody asked me why I wasn't on MTV. Well, I was sort of over by then. MTV happened in 1980. And I had my success in 1972, 1973, 1971. I started playing in the 60s. So by the 1980, I was ancient history, man. There'd already been reggae, the whole Bob Marley thing, all the punk music. I was lame-o, bamo, out of my, I was out of it. I was no longer relevant at that point. Yeah, I wasn't relevant. And so I was never on MTV. How did I get Orange Kitty? Okay. Orange Kitty, my friend Catherine Lenehan, who worked on my movie with me, she was in Newport buying cat food for her mother at a pet store, and they were having a kitty adoption, and Orange was like a year old, and he was a skinny little cat. But he was really beautiful and super friendly. And she took a picture of him and she says, I think you like this cat because my other cat had died. And I said, oh, that's a great looking cat. Yeah, I want him. And so she hooked me up with a lady. And it turned out this lady, she adopts out for 25 years, she adopts 1,500 cats a year. Now think about that in terms of the number, how many cats a day that is. She adopts out 1,500 cats a year, between 15 and 2,500, she said, a year for 25 years. She found homes for that many cats. And so it turned out, and this is down in Newport, and I was thinking, how am I going to get cats down in Newport? Turned out the lady, the first concert she'd ever went to was a Lee Michaels concert. And so her and her son drove all the way from Newport, all the way down here to Venice, and brought Orange to me. And she had my albums, and I signed the albums, and we talked for a while, and I got Orange, and that's how I got Orange. But that's really funny, man. Yeah. Otherwise, I would have had to go down to Newport or send somebody down there to get him. So anyway, that worked out really great. And she was a really nice lady, and her son was nice. They were nice. Yeah. And they brought Orange to me, and here he is 6 years later. You little kitty. He's sleeping now on the new speaker. I got a big giant Mesa Boogie cabinet that we brought in yesterday. We're going to sell it. And naturally, he went right up to it because it's a new thing in the room. And now it's his new favorite place to hang because it's a great big bass cabinet. And he's sitting up on the top of it right at this very moment. That's the story of Orange Kitty. I know these are boring stories, but that's life. So what are you guys doing out there? Your questions blow me out. Some of the questions are so funny, but they basically blow me out. And you guys ask so many questions. I think, fuck, man, all these people have all these questions. It's pretty cool. That's what I'm saying. It's pretty cool. I like it. I like you guys too. Yeah. I'm doing stuff. Yeah. God, I'm so caught up in the AI. We are just like fucking, excuse me, I can't talk bad on the internet. Podcast, YouTube, whatever the fuck. Anyway, yeah, man, it's so cool. I'm just blowing out. We did our two avatars, Finia and my avatar, and then we took pictures of it, and then AI made it look so fucking cool. It was hard to believe. And then Finia animated it and sent me a copy. And so I put WhatsApp yesterday on my computer, so now I can see the stuff bigger. Before we were just doing it on our phone, but now it's bigger, and it's just fucking amazing, man. It's so great. I'm so stoked. The next thing is to put voices to it. But wow, have you been going to Kelly Bosch's YouTube channel and seen her videos? Man, I suggest you all subscribe to her stuff. She's so prolific. There's a lot of people out there doing AI video and stuff, but they all have their genre. Like every one of their videos look the same, but she's totally experimental, man. She does one day, she does one thing, the next day she does the next. She's so creative and so innovative, and she's not afraid. She just goes for it, man. Her videos are so diverse. You should go to her website, Kelly, BOESCH. Yeah, it's stunning, man, the diversity, the variety of stuff she has. Yeah, I know you've all seen AI art and stuff, but she's taken it to another level, and she's fearless, and I really, I'm a big fan of her stuff. Somebody asked me, when was the last time I played for a paying audience? And I was trying to think. Was it that gig in San Francisco where the person said it was the worst concert they'd ever seen? Oh, by the way, when you hear my guitar song, you can hear why. If I was to play live now, man, people would go, what is this? Where's Lee Michaels? You don't sound like Lee. You don't play like Lee. I play totally different now than I did 50 years ago. You can tell that when you hear my thing. You'll say, oh, you play different. The guitar sounds pretty good, huh? Yeah, it sounds pretty good. Yeah, the last time I played for a paying audience. The last few gigs I played for didn't go over so good. People were really disappointed because I wasn't sounding like I used to sound. and they were like, I got a lot of shit for that, man. And people want you to sound like you used to sound and play your songs. But you know what? That's why the people show up. They show up to hear the stuff you used to do. And so it was actually my fault. I got all the bad energy I got from that. I deserved it, I guess, because I wasn't being honest with myself about why people are showing up. I thought people were showing up because they were interested in what I'm doing now, But the fact is, when you play those classic rock shows, people are showing up to hear the old songs that you used to do, and they have no interest in what you're doing now, which is, so I just quit playing after that. I never played again. How long ago was that? I don't know. A long time ago. 30 years ago, maybe longer, 40 years ago. I have no idea, but it's a long time ago. And even back then, man, people weren't going for it, that I was trying to expand myself, But I'm sort of like that girl Kelly Bosch in the AI. I'm like interested in doing different stuff and sounding different. And so it's easy for me because since I hate my voice, I don't mind singing different, and I don't mind doing anything different because I never like what I did before, and I still basically never like anything. But I like that you guys got to listen to that song. That song, I thought it was a 9-minute song, but it's 17 and a half minutes long. But I think you'll like it if you listen to it. You can leave a comment. Oh, yesterday when we first put it up for the first 37 viewers, I had the comments turned off, and Dylan was gone. I go, oh, fuck, how do I turn the comments on? How do I turn them on? So it took me like a half hour. I was sitting there looking at the screen trying to figure out how do I turn the comments back on. But then I finally figured it out, and I got the comments back on. What happened was, I'll tell you what happened. I know it's not interesting, but I'm going to tell you anyway. On YouTube, when you put a video up, it says who can watch it, and I said kids could watch it. And the second I said kids could watch it, YouTube automatically disabled my comments. So it was really hard for me to figure out how come my comments are grayed out. How come nobody can leave comments? And I'm looking at it and I can't click on it. I try to click on it, but it's all grayed out and I won't click. And I'm thinking, oh fuck! And I thought, wow, I wonder if it's because we said kids could watch my video. So we went back. I went back and I clicked the kids thing off, and instantly the comments were on. So those of you who watched it and weren't able to leave a comment, you can go back now and leave a comment, because I like to hear what everybody thinks about that video. I mean that song. I want to get your input on that song. Of all the comments I have, I'm sort of interested if anybody will like that, because And I went and looked this morning before my podcast, and I had a bunch of comments, and the people that commented liked it. I think they seemed like they liked it, and I like it. I guess that's what's important, or I wouldn't have put it up. So somebody asked me, chimeneas, is that how you said? They asked me if I like chimeneas. I have no idea what a chimenea is. Yeah, and I was going, chimenea, I don't know what you're talking about. So I don't know what a chimenea is. Somebody asked me about the Doors, if I know Mazarek, and if I knew Jim Morrison, and they were from Venice. And I wasn't living in Venice when they were in their prime, I was up north. So I didn't really know those guys. I ran into Jim Morrison a couple of times. Once at Sunset Sound when I was recording there. He was there doing something. So I ran into him there. And I ran into him once at a party. Yeah. I ran into him. He was a little sarcastic of a guy, but that's all right. We were all a little weird then, we were young and everybody was like strutting around. So he was all right. I never really had any interaction with him, so I can't really have an opinion. And the Manzarek, I've never ran into him. I know he's around. I saw him being interviewed recently, and so he's still alive. Good for him. And he was talking about the Doors and everything. It was a good interview. I liked watching it, and I liked yeah. I'm not nostalgic, but I saw he was there, and I thought, oh, I'll listen to this. And he was cool. Seemed like a nice guy. Yeah. But I didn't really know those guys. Oh, but you can go back. I have an episode where I stole the Doors helicopter. So go back into my back things. The name of the video is Stole the Doors Helicopter. You can see it. It's like a little headline on the thumbnail. And there's a story of me taking their helicopter. That's a really good story, and I think you'll like it. So watch that story if you want to know about. That's about the closest I had of interaction with the Doors, was stealing their helicopter. Somebody asked me a 69 medley MP with Frosty. I wasn't playing with Frosty in 69. I'm sorry to say. You got your wires crossed there on the Frosty album from 69. Maybe the year wasn't 69 because Frosty wasn't playing with me in 69. So check the year. It's probably a different thing, but I don't remember. I did one album. I did one album with Frosty, and then later he came back in for Tailface, and we did that album. Yeah. I never held it against Frosty that he quit. You know, I didn't like the way he quit. I thought the timing was bad, and I realized Leonard Stogel orchestrated that. But, you know, I'm not a guy. I don't hold my shit. You know, I don't hold shit. You know how some people, like, hold their shit for a whole lifetime, like John Fogerty. Like, I played lots of gigs with Creedence. We had the same manager. The same agent, Jerry Heller, who went on to be famous with NWA, and he was that famous manager that they say so many bad things about. And Jerry was here. We had a fight night here, and Jerry was here very shortly before he died. And that was after that movie came out about NWA, and he was really upset about the way he was portrayed in that movie. And I always liked Jerry, but anyway, that was the Manny Pacquiao fight. I think, who did Pacquiao fight? Anyway, we had a great fight night that night. My place was packed with people and all the boxing fans, and we had a great fight night, and Jerry showed up, and it was so good to see him. It was so good to see him. What was I saying about Fogerty? I was saying, I'm not one to hold my shit, you know. I don't hold a grudge for my whole life. Like, Fogerty still is uptight at his band, man. He's still uptight at his band. I see interviews with him, and he's still at odds with his band. Man, they were a great band. How can you be angry with them when you're in your late 70s, you know, almost 80 years old, and you're still mad at your band? Come on, dude, relax. And you can see it on his face. You can see that he's been angry all that time. You know, it just looks on his face. Anyway, I feel sorry for him because he hasn't got over it. He's, you know, somebody insulted him, you know, 50 years ago, and he's still mad about it. Dude, get over it, you know. Yeah, you were always all right. They were always all right. Now, one guy was your brother, man. How can you be angry all this time? Just angry. That's so crazy. Every single thing he talks about, every time he talks about something, you can see how he has this angry attitude about it. Everybody screwed him. Everybody, you know, fuck. Everybody screwed everybody. I didn't ever make any record royalties the whole time I was recording, but I'm not angry at Jerry Moss and Herb Alpert about that. Am I supposed to be angry at them for my whole life because I didn't make any money? I mean, yeah, everybody gets screwed, man. Get over it, dude. That's your brother, and those are your bandmates, and it's unbelievable. You guys should be playing together. You shouldn't be holding your shit all this time. I'm telling John Fogerty how to act, and he wrote all those great songs, but I believe you can't hold shit, man. It's bad for you. You just can't hold a shit your whole life. You know, you got to let go. Anyway, and I always liked all those guys, including Fogerty. He was a little introverted, but I always liked him. And I like those guys. I was always sad that they didn't get back together and that they had this thing, and it was really about him thinking he was betrayed and he would never get over it. But man, dude, you wrote so many great songs. You were such an important musical icon figure. Your songs meant so much to everybody. To this day, everybody loves those songs, and you recorded those songs with your band and your brother, and you guys recorded those songs, and it was all those sum of your parts. You know, it wasn't just you wrote the songs. You were the gifted guy, but they were part of it, and you guys were together. You guys really meant something, because all the albums after the band broke up, none of his albums were ever like they were when they had that band together. It was, you know, sometimes bands are are more than the sum of their parts. You know how bands, yeah, something happens then. It's magic. And like Creedence Clearwater was magic, man. And they were not virtuoso players or anything, but they were magic, man. Those guys were good. And he wrote the great songs, and they were the great band. And it's such a shame that all these years he never got together with them, you know. I always felt bad about that. I don't know. Bands are a complex thing. I see a lot of bands, man, they just have hassles and arguments, and they're so mad at each other. And I think, God, you guys are so lucky to have success. You know, you should be embracing each other as brothers anyway. But who am I to tell people how to think or how to act or anything? Somebody asked me about Van Morrison. Nobody asked me about Fogerty. I just brought it up out of the clear blue, thinking what a shame it was. Those guys never clicked again. Somebody asked me about Van Morrison. Did I know Van? Yeah, back in some of my back podcasts, I talk about knowing Van, talk about him coming to my house and hanging out with his wife, and us going over to his place, and you know, I think he lived in San Anselmo or one of those places, and I was in Mill Valley, so that's really close. We got to know each other a little. And once again, we had the same agent, Jerry Heller, who managed, Jerry Heller, who was the agent for Creedence and Van and me, and it was really good. And Irving Azoff worked for Jerry Heller. How's that for crazy? You got to the Midwest. He was a Midwest guy out there for Jerry. Then he moved to L.A. and worked in Jerry's office. And he went on to become Mr. Bigger Than Big. Now he's the biggest something. Anyway, you know. Anyway, Van Morrison, yeah. Van was always nice to me. Yeah. He was always nice to me. I always liked him. He was good. You know, Jerry Heller wrote a book. If you read books, I didn't read the book, but if he wrote a book and he talks about all the artists he represented, about NWA, he talks about the whole thing. And you know, if you're interested in that, you can go read his book, Jerry Heller's book. Jerry died. Oh, Bruce. Hey, Bruce, how you doing out there? My friend Bruce, up north in Mill Valley, wherever you live in, Sausalito, Mill Valley. Where do you live, Bruce? Anyway, Bruce asked me if I ever knew Charlie Deal. Charlie Deal was this character in Mill Valley. He was a real character, and he took toilet seats and made guitars. The toilet seat was the body of the guitar, and then he put a guitar neck on it. And I think what did he call them? Anyway, he made guitars out of toilet seats, and that was his thing. And he was also a guy, he did a little maintenance at all these different buildings. So he had a big bunch of keys to all the different stores and stuff where he did maintenance. So he was like a handyman maintenance guy who made guitars. And I knew Charlie Deal. And I knew him before I owned Prue Music, and then after I owned Prue Music, he came in there also. But somehow I met Charlie Deal and knew him, and he made toilet seat guitars, and I thought that was cool. A guy, think about it, and he had a name for him. I can't remember the name of the guitars, but Charlie Deal, man, made guitars with toilet seats. I thought that was really innovative and funny. He had a certain, he found his niche. Yeah, Charlie Deal. Somebody asked me about my yellow plaid shirt that I was wearing yesterday and where I got it. I got it from Orvis. So if you go to Orvis, if you want one of those shirts, just go to Orvis and order one. Orvis, Orvis. That's where I got that shirt. And I'm sure they still sell them. I got it years ago, but glad you liked it. I kind of like the way that shirt looks against the green backdrop. But it's not a shirt I wear out all the time. It's a little sort of bright, you know. Anyway. Yeah, that's the story of that. Somebody asked me if I knew the band Joy of Cooking. I didn't know those guys. Or I think there was a girl in that band too. But I didn't know them. That's the story of that. So, Tim Curry. How did I wind up playing on Tim Curry's album? They just contacted me and asked me if I wanted to play on his album, and I said, sure. And I went up to Toronto And we were there for a couple of weeks doing that album, and I went up there. And when I was up there was a girl who was, they were recording one of her songs or something. Her name was Carol Pope. And she was really talented kind of girl. I think eventually she moved to LA. She was very eccentric and not extremely friendly. Yeah, I think she was a lesbian. I don't know. But she was, I was in love with her album, man. I wore her album out. Carol Pope had an album, and it was pressed on vinyl. What do they call it when that real high quality vinyl pressing? Anyway, they recorded it live to vinyl, not live to tape and then to vinyl, but live right to vinyl. So that was a pretty interesting process, but it was a really great high fidelity album, and I really liked her style of singing and playing. And Carol Pope, if you go check her out, I'm sure her stuff is somewhere. But I liked her. For some reason, I liked her stuff. And so that's the story of Tim Curry. He was always a very polite, nice British guy. He was just a gentleman, a real nice guy. And I was sort of crazy then. I remember one time we went to dinner and I was coming out. There was a cop car. I was going to jump up on top of the cop car, and he got sort of freaked out. Goes, no, don't do that, because he didn't want any trouble. But I was all about trouble, so I was going to jump on the cop car. But I probably better I did, because we were in Canada and Toronto, and I don't know how the cops are in Toronto, but I didn't find out. It's probably good they asked me not to do it. I don't know why we were walking down the street and I went, whoa, I'm going to jump in this cop car. And everybody's going, no, don't jump on it. But anyway, Tim Curry. Then I saw him years later. He was playing in San Francisco, doing a gig in San Francisco. And I went to that gig and said hi. And he was still nice and he was still a gentleman. And he was just a genuinely nice guy. Yeah. Anyway. Avila Beach. That's the name of the beach that the Sentinels rehearsed at, was Avila Beach. Thank you for telling me. Yeah, it was Avila Beach or Shell Beach, you said. And yeah, it was Avila. It was Avila Beach. And we played it downstairs in this little store. That little store is probably there. That building's probably still there. But there was a basement, and we rehearsed in that basement. And yeah, San Luis Obispo. Yeah, I had fun up there, man. I like that area. I like Pismo. I used to go with my kids to Pismo, and we would sleep on the beach, in our van, and then we would rent those four-wheel ATCs. My kids would ride all around in the sand dunes, and I'd ride with them, and we had a lot of fun. Pismo was one of our camping. You know how people go camp in the forest? We go camp at the beach, you know what I mean? We go camp at the beach. One time we went camping at Big Sur, and we got there, and there was some kind of fly epidemic. There was 1 trillion flies, and we got to our campsite, and we got out of our car, and we were instantly, 1 million flies were all over us, these little weird flies that bit and everything, and they were just a zillion of them. And I looked at my kids, and we looked at each other, and let's get out of here. And so we just booked and left Big Sur and drove to Santa Cruz. And then Santa Cruz was cool because it was at the beach, and it was better, but we picked a bad time to go to Big Sur camping. It was some kind of fly once in a 1,000-year event. There was just trillions of flies. I can't even explain how many of these little tiny flies. There was millions of them everywhere, and we're supposed to camp in that shit. We go, no way. I looked at my kids. We were starting to set our shit up, and I go, I can't do this. And they go, yeah, let's get out of here. And so we went to Santa Cruz and had a better time. Avila Beach. Yeah, that was the name of that place. Somebody asked me if I ever knew Donovan. No, I never knew Donovan. It's funny, one of my sons, my oldest son, is named Donovan, and but I didn't know about Donovan when I named him. It was before Donovan was on the scene. But it's so funny that they would have the same name. But no, I never met Donovan. I heard he lived up in Idlewild or one of those places for a while down here in Southern Cal. I guess he was a good guy. I heard he was a good guy. So, but I don't know him. I didn't know him. 13th floor elevator. I never met those guys. I don't know if we played any gigs together, but I didn't know those guys either. So that's the end of the questions. That's the end of the questions, you guys. That's all we got. That's the end of the questions. Now, I want you all to go listen to my guitar song and see what you think of it. I really am curious of her, because I like it. So I hope you go do that. Send her videos in my podcast. Click videos, and you'll see it. There's a group shot of all the people who were at the Mesa Boogie event. I know I'm repeating that myself, but that's why I'm closing, because I want you to watch it and give me a comment and tell me what you thought of it. I'm running out of stuff to say. I think you guys are going to run out of questions pretty soon too. That's really good. But some of you people are asking questions that I've already covered in past issues, so I know that there's some new people and they have new questions. So, new blood. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, I like your questions. This is kind of podcast has changed a little bit, but this is what it is. Hey, Jesse, I'm saying hi to my friend Jesse out there. How you doing, Jesse? Jesse and I are born on the same day, the same year. And we have a zillion coincidences, man. Like, even today, we talk about stuff, and then he goes, oh, wow, and the same thing happened to him. So it's such a weird cosmic thing that we're born on the same day, the same year, and we have all these parallel things that have happened throughout our lives. We go back and talk about our childhood, and we had things that were so similar. Just so weird that be. So it makes me think there's something to astrology, because we have some kind of unspoken connection, and we didn't know each other much later, but when we reflect on our lives, we have all these things that are just exactly the same, the timing, the years, everything. It's the weirdest thing. So I believe in some kind of astrological, there's something's going on there. I don't know exactly what it is, but something's going on. It's just like when somebody asks me about reincarnation. I don't know what it is, but something's going on. There's a lot of shit out there that we don't quite fully understand. But it's real. I think a lot of stuff is real. Some people like really put all that stuff down, you know. I had this one girlfriend, Erica. She was so crazy. Erica Huff, her father's, you know, Gamble and Huff, the famous songwriters from Philadelphia. It was Erica Huff was his daughter, and she was a lot of fun. What was I going to tell you about her? I said, so what's your sign? She says, $sign. That was her. She was quick. She was quick and funny, really. And she'd say her sign is stop sign. If somebody asked her, what's your sign? She goes, stop sign, if she didn't want to talk. Anyway, but $sign was really her thing. Anyway, she was a great girl. We went our separate ways. She never liked me as much as I liked her, but we hung out on and off for like 10 years, and it was just chaos the whole time, you know. But that's another whole story. We were back and forth. Yeah, I covered all the questions, man. I covered all the questions. Now, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We're getting up past 900. I think we're going to get to 1,000, and I'm going to tell my story. You're not going to believe it. Maybe when I tell my story, I'll quit my podcast or something. I'll be so embarrassed after telling my story. Anyway, we're edging towards 1,000. Nobody's growing slower than us. It's an organic growth process. Yeah, you could call it something. It's more like a failure. I was talking to Finney last night and saying my podcast is a failure. Yeah, but I'm not a failure, so here we are. And here you are. We're all hanging out. It's so funny. Like it almost feels like we're a small little group in the big giant universe. You know, we're a small little group and we're having fun. And somebody else mentioned that they're so glad I'm not talking politics too much and I'm not. You know, because that's just a never-ending spew of negativity, it seems like. And nobody's happy. Everybody's upset about everything every second. But so that was the idea when we started this podcast, was to just have the good vibe, you know, and not be all negative about stuff. And so I try not to be negative. I've had a few negative moments, you know, where I say, oh, that guy was an asshole or something. But anyway, it is what it is. I hope you're having fun. Hello, Big Kitty. You got up finally from sleeping? You got up from sleeping? Ooh. Now, this is something unusual, everybody. Big Kitty never does this. You're being really nice. You're being really nice. That was pretty of him. That was nice of him. Yeah, come here. Um, excuse me. So I guess I'll get out of here. There was something else. Oh, so watch my guitar song. Tell me what you thought of it. Subscribe if you can. Press the like button, man. Press the like button really helps, I think. And, people are discovering about my podcast. Somebody said they got two of their friends to subscribe to my podcast. And so I thought, that is so cool. So Kitty's walking down the orange table that I was telling you about. So when he walks towards the camera, he's walking down the orange table. And that's his story. Yeah, it's so beautiful in here. I wish you guys could. Well, we'll do a big shot when Dylan comes in. We'll do a big shot and you can see my space. It's really great. So press the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed. Press the like button even if you hate the podcast. Press the like button. It helps. Watch my guitar song. I really am curious what you guys think about that. The guitar tone is so good. Good guitar sounds, huh? Anyway, I guess I'm out of here. I have nothing else to talk about. Here I go. I'm cooking some food on a slow cook today. I started it at 6 this morning. It's going to simmer all day. Going to be yummy. Okay. Oh, 3. We're out of here. 2. I'm having so much fun as usual. Hope you're all having fun. Wait, back up. 2, 3. We're back into the podcast. I hope you're all having fun. And you go out and try to have fun every day. Yeah, go have fun every day. Try to help somebody every day too. That'll make you feel really happy if you help somebody every day. Like, dude, it doesn't have to be anything. Just like opening a door for somebody or helping somebody. Just helping somebody on any kind of, like, even the smallest level. You feel really good, when you help people. So, yeah, you feel good. And, yeah, you feel good when you help people. So help me and press the like button and subscribe and tell your friends about it. It's word of mouth. We're not growing too fast. I guess our lips are sealed. But thank you, the person that got me 2 new subscribers. Thank you very much. I like that. I'm out of here. I'm repeating myself, but that's life. Okay. 3, 2, 1. See you tomorrow. Poof.